everyone. Okay, we go live.
Hey, I'm Brian.
Yeah.
Brian, I just wanted to let you know there are some individuals that if you want to talk about that we've been talking about it. So
All right, cool.
just know, it's definitely a subject that's been talked about.
We click on the go live now.
I'm sure.
All right, so
ready.
officially we are live. This is the event, call it From iSketch to AI Catch and 3D Revolution. This is the part 7, and I have several invites with me. Just prior to start the meeting, let's test the system. Always, I'm kind of like to test it to make sure it works. So, for people which are listening, can you make emoji? Can you assign so I can see that you can actually hear us? I just want to see a respond. I know. All right, I see a bunch of thumbs up. Okay, thank you very much, John. So my name is Sandu Baciu. I'm a civil engineer by trade, and I'm holding those events because I want to share my experience with people. It's all about the AI, and we know AI is impacting a lot of people, at least lately. And with me, I have also several speakers, which I will ask them after I will have this introduction to present themselves, and after that we'll dive into the event itself. For the people which are listening, if you like to come on the stage, there is a button on the right side which looks like a hand. So basically you need to raise the hand, and I can bring you on the stage, basically saying, come on the stage with us here. And when you do that, make sure at the microphone over there, if it's a line over the microphone, it means you are muted. You need to unmute yourself. So basically, when you come on the stage, ideally you should be unmuted so we can hear you. All right, so that being said, I will ask my invites, and we'll start with the ladies, to present themselves. And let's go with Joy and Brigitta, and after that, Brian and Chris.
Hi, my name is Joy Schmalfeld. I have a background, I guess, from educational software and development from long ago. But I am also in photonics as well, product development for a lot of things involving AR, VR, MR, and other interactive environments. So that's kind of what I've been doing for the last 10 years. And I'm just an old dork from originally gaming and education. So
Cool. Okay, Brigitta, you need to unmute.
Hey, maybe take quiz until they are done in the speakers, please.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll go ahead then. I'm Chris. I'm the founder of Seedly and Artificial Inspiration, which is our AI community here on LinkedIn. And I'm just recently getting into all things generative AI, and I've been joining lots and lots of these audio sessions with Sandu, Brian, Bugessa, everybody. It's a really good community we've got going on. John's podcast, my audio sessions, just discussing this sort of stuff, the latest news in AI, how interesting it is. I always love hearing the 3D perspectives of Sandu. And just that's me.
Hey, maybe.
Go ahead, Brigitta.
Yeah, okay. I was expected to be in Sweden by now, but I'm still in New York. So I've been traveling for 2 days, and I just take from one side to the another in the US. So that's why maybe it's noisy. But I love to experience the technology on the airports too, when you use your phone and the AI all over the place. So that's really an experience. But my background and why I am here is that I always am an inventor, and my specialty is actually in the psychology and personal development. But last year I got into the AI art and the mid journey, and I had no idea why, because I'm not a designer. I love to create my own stuff. But when ChatGPT showed up in my life in the end of November last year, I started to understand why I had to learn the way an generative AI tool communicate. What kind of language is it? So I have spent hundreds, maybe thousands of hours to learn, to study, to experiment and see what is this, how can we use it. And so I have deep knowledge in what all of the possibilities. And now the last month, I have decided I need to make a decision. Okay, so what's my role in how am I going to use the generative AI? And for me, is to revolutionize the coaching industry, because I am a pioneer in the coaching industry, and coaches generally. Or let me rephrase it. Most people use ChatGPT to get answers. I want to use ChatGPT to ask questions. There, we can stop there for now.
Nice. All right. And Brian, if you want to present yourself.
I love that. Yeah, hi. I'm a motion graphics animator in my business as far as what I do for a living. But I'm a kind of a lifelong artist and innovator. Journeyed through graphic design, motion graphics, and character art, and even popularized paper toys in the U.S. And now I've been really embracing AI generative tools to expand my creativity and push my artistic boundaries. And I'm using it for different things right now. Like in my work as a motion graphics animator and designer, I'm using it to develop courses to inspire and empower kids and their parents through conscious creativity courses that I'm developing, because I really am an advocate for kindness, and I see AI as a catalyst for compassion, and a really powerful tool for that if used properly. And so I'm excited to put that into my work. And I'm also using AI to further develop my own characters and story for an animated series pitch that I'm working on. So I'm using it in all these different ways, and I'm just loving it. And at the same time, always wondering, hoping that I'm on the right side of this whole AI thing, because it's so powerful and world changing. So I'm excited to have this conversation. So thanks for having me.
Yes, awesome. Yes, it's a new renaissance, AI renaissance. I'm sometimes joking about it. Cool. So let's start with the first part. As I said, 3 parts here: innovation side, how we can use the AI with innovation hand in hand. And I will have a quick introduction and a little bit exposure over there. The second will be on the news. I do have a bunch of news. They are posted in the comments, but I want to quickly run through them. And at the end, the 3D revolution part, which is coming. Actually, it's already here, but it's good to know what AI can do on the 3D world. And the 3D world itself is very dynamic. It's changing, same as the AI. Lots of stuff over there happens, and yeah, we see metaverses and stuff like that. But behind all the infrastructure for all those cool stuff, it's actually based on 3D. So that being said, I will quickly jump on the innovation side. Like I was thinking, oh my God, there are so many subjects which I can talk about. So what should I say as an innovation this time? So this time I was thinking actually the integration with different industries. As you can see, in general we try the speakers to be from different fields, so we can see from multiple points of view how the innovation it's applied. So in construction, actually by default, construction is very conservative as an industry. You do not want stuff which you don't control it, because it might create problems in the sense that might have accidents and humans are involved. So that's a very sensitive area. So therefore you apply always the, let's say, conservative part, something which was tested, it's already known, no surprises over there. That's usually how construction goes. But we do have an AI in construction as well, and actually it's quite heavy on the design side. And the latest industry which actually pick up a lot and it's got tons of AI/AR, augmented reality, implemented on it, it's based on the scanning technology. So as you probably noticed, the scanning technology, which right now goes hand in hand with AR, it become very strong in construction, because each time when you want to build something, you have to have the environment, you have to have the data, like how the soil is, how is the earth, or if it's a building, is any structural problems over there. If you want to demo or build something new, you need to know where to put that in place. So therefore, here is how AI is handling right now, especially on the construction. It's going to be a trend to pretty much scan everything. It's going to create a massive database, but that can be accessed from any place in the world, and also from historical point of view, that can remain as a data, same as in the past you have as built let's say plans or documentation. So basically, when you finish a project, you hand it to your client. Okay, we built this. Here are all the drawings. Here is all the calculation. What we give to you is good. And right now we can see that with the scanning technology, LiDAR, that is gonna become a really cool stuff in the future. So I just want to throw that on the AI side, because we could see the future is gonna get and also could be actually public access for all this information, which it stays as a base, as an infrastructure for design for everything which we do in construction. So that being said, I'm just curious from my speaker's point of view, what will be their experience and also the innovation side of the AI. And as usually, let's start with the ladies. Maybe Joy, if you want to explain on your side, and after that Brigitta, and after that Brian and Chris.
Yeah, mainly, I mean, when you're talking about LiDAR and overmapping, and this is something that I really do love, and have experimented with different projects, actually. Finding historical landmarks before development over old cities. It's amazing what you can do with the mapping, essentially, and with the data that AI brings to the forefront, and combining the two together. So that combination, there's some projects that I've worked on in the past that have done that. There's some things I can talk about, and there's some things I'm not going to be able to talk about, actually. Now that I'm here, I'm realizing, okay, maybe I can't talk about that one. But with the LiDAR over mapping and the AI coming in, you're able to have that personal assistant as well with you to pull all that data in and overlay, and then send it over to architecture, whatever the plans may be. It's great that you can pull in all the databases into one complete hub, has been my experience. So, and I'm going to probably dork out today, just a heads up. If I take you down different rabbit holes, just bring me back.
No problem, don't worry about it. Brigitta, on your side, what are the innovative ways of using AI?
Okay, so I will go where I am actually an expert, and it is in the psychology and the coaching, the self-development. And as you said, if the construction world is conservative, the psychology, the therapist, and then it's also really conservative. And the difference will be that now, when you do it in the right way, because it is an innovation how you can use it, but when people realize they can do so much with their own development and the self-awareness by learning how to ask questions. So I have even talked to coach colleagues, old, really professional coaches. They thought in the beginning that AI will not get into the coaching. And as you know, in any profession, that's not true. But you need to think differently. And I see it also with I think this is also, it really can change how we perceive the world, and also the fear of AI, because right now people fear the AI and don't see that the problem is in the human being's behavior. And the more people learn that they can take control over their life, and it's not just about spiritual development. This is hands-on to feel better and to get to the mental health issue in an innovative way, because we don't need to have experts all the way. As a person, you can solve so much what to say. So self-coaching, self-development, that will be something that will change the entire industry in the psychology and coaching.
Yes, that's quite interesting. I'm really curious to see how the things will go with AI in that field. Definitely something which we should watch. And now we will go through. We go to Brian. Brian, if you can share your experience and innovative ways of using AI.
Sure. Yeah, I love all that so far. Good stuff. I use it. I mean, I'm loving it for. I mean, obviously as a creative, it's got so much potential on so many levels. I love that. I can see it being used as a creative collaborator, AI as a creative collaborator partner, kind of down the road, where it's going to, has the potential to understand an individual's creative style, providing suggestions or generating content that complements our work. I think that's going to be very interesting. Even push us, in new creative, directions. I think it's going to be very interesting in that regard. As far as what we have right now, there are just so many incredible, interesting tools that are just taking, taking these things, everything to the next level. The way it democratizes. I love the way it's democratizing creativity, and even though it's very scary as a creative, and the job security and all that on the short term, I really see this as a potential for just I almost see a future, as a potentially like you see in like a Dr. Seuss story, where it's just like everything is, revolves around the greater good in terms of creativity and in terms of, the kind of things we build and the kind of things that are available to us as a society. I think that we're going to get so much more of that, as a result of this AI, and that's what I'm so excited about. And then, on a more practical level, like right now, Gen 2, by Runway, Gen 1 and Gen 2, that, where you can create video from nothing, from a prompt, is so powerful. And I get that, for me, is that, I'm already playing around with creating whimsical characters and things and having them actually animated. So I could see this potential for creating, full-on stories and animations and whatever, using, just concepts and ideas, and and also being able to upload your own artwork and have it generate based on that artwork and whatever. And I, there's a whole argument here where, as an animator or somebody, it takes away from that, that creative process and whatever. But the reality is there's so few people that can do that or have the time or the discipline or, to learn those tools and do it. And it really...
Brian, you break out. Okay, go ahead.
Sorry, I had a call come in. I really, I just see that, this potential for us to create whatever we have in our minds and whatever, and I just think that's such a beautiful and powerful thing. So that's what I'm really excited about. Sorry, that was winded.
Yeah, no, really cool stuff. And Chris, on your side, I know you have some cool stuff to share with us as well. And again,
thank you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh yes, go ahead.
No, for the people in the audience, again, feel free to hands up and join us to the stage here. We'll like to hear your opinion as well.
Yeah, exactly. I'm so glad that you're asking people to come in, because us AI experts, it's interesting that we all have our different fields and stuff. So as Brian answered the creative one, and I'm a creative too, I'm going to go more into the marketing to give another perspective, because as you said, Sander, it's good to have different backgrounds and perspectives of people. So I get involved in the marketing and distribution as much as I do in the content creation side of things like Brian does. I'd say he's more and what's awesome is right now I'm seeing movies made with runway clips. Like I saw a Wes Anderson movie this morning on YouTube, and it was all runway Gen 2 stuff. So answering the question specifically about marketing, though, I would say marketing has been turned upside down from innovation. Quite literally, every single type of marketing is now better off with AI inside of it, because it's able to hyper-personalize customer journeys, it's able to bring, scale, it's able to bring all sorts of different things to marketing that we've never seen before. So this innovation in marketing is really something extra. I think that's why mainly marketers have adapted this technology the quickest and fastest of all of the industries out there, honestly, because it's just so useful to our day-to-day job roles. I would honestly go to say that 90% of the things I did 2 years ago, I no longer do these days, because AI is taking that part of my life. And it's fascinating to see that, and as Brian is, I'm discovering new technologies all the time that help me with the creative and marketing process. I see them as hand in hand, because whenever we create things, we're trying to use it to distribute, to get marketing for our brand so that we can get awareness and then bring it back, through organic social presence. And yeah, it's just going to change everything, though. Like in terms of innovation in marketing, it's changing. I can't think of a single type of marketing it's not changed.
Can I just,
Yeah.
I just want to a quick in, since I've been and watching especially the marketing, because the marketers and the salespeople is always those who are first to try it out, and I've been watching the development there. So when you start to using ChatGPT or the Midjourney in the marketing, be innovative, because now all the copycats is coming, and they are coming in a high speed, and you can see when it's not really thought through. So I mean, it's absolutely amazing. I'm using it all the time, like really be innovative and be ahead of the big the crowd.
Yeah.
Well, just a little funny side note to that. We call them, because we always do Star Wars references. Me and Paul, my co-founder, his agency was called Yubnub, which is a Star Wars reference as well. But we call them the Clone Army because when you set like a trend in Midjourney, like we started off these making baby characters, and we started this back in the World Cup, believe it or not. We made Baby Messi, and it got featured everywhere, literally all over Reddit, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, everywhere. There was like 100,000s of backlinks. And now we see Instagram profiles just generating baby characters, which is hilarious. They never moved past our original creative idea in order to create their own. They just made an entire profile based on one of our ideas back in October of last year. But I thought I'd add that as a funny little side note based on creativity and being unique, and don't become a clone army.
Yeah, I would just offer or add to that not just with marketing, but with everything that we're creating.
Exactly.
It's more important than ever to be, because now, because of like what I said too about that, it's democratizing this in such a way where everybody's going to be able to put stuff out. That means there's going to be a lot of junk. There's going to be a lot of copycats. There's going to be a lot of everything. And it's like, so I think we need to be very mindful of what we're putting out, how creative we're being, how original we're trying, we're being, and like let it have a point. Just because you can do something doesn't mean you should, right? So I think that's really an important thing to keep in mind. It's a good point, Birgitta.
Yeah, no doubt, and yes, that's a place for pretty much everyone. I can say also, what is AI at the definition? AI is getting some information from a massive database, is reshuffle it, and again, could be image, could be video, could be any form, text, and after that is recombining that as something relatively new, but is basically a combination. So from all those, let's say, copycats or combination, how you can stand out, how you can differentiate, and that is what I think people will be very creative and very sharp, getting finding that small niche between all this ocean of information. We do have on the stage also with us Jericho and Tracy. So Jericho, if you like to share your thoughts with us as well, and after that Tracy.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for having me. Thank you for hosting this. Definitely see some familiar faces and some personal friends are in here. My experience with AI has been relatively short. It's only been a few months that I've really been really diving into it. And I know this is for a lot of you, obviously, like the belong to a space AICT, which I think a lot of you guys are in. And what it was just the first couple of people was last August to October of last year. I think the top 100 list was created in October. Is that right? 2022. So, there's not been a lot of time for us to grow collectively or individually, except for the amount of work that you're putting in on a regular basis. The one thing that I want to share with you guys that I find really interesting, and this does tie into more of the creative aspect, but also, Chris, it also hinges upon the marketing piece. In marketing, we all know that we need to understand our customers, and AI is really helping us do that. It's helping us do that more and more every single day. And the more that they continue, our customers, clients, wherever they might be, the more the world continues to play with AI, the more we're going to be able to learn about the world around us. Because with these large language models and this natural language processing, all of this, everything that we put in, it's learning from us. Everything that it puts out, we're learning from it. We're learning how the technology sees our world because we're giving it the perspectives and the lens through which to see it. Case in point, I grew up under obviously two parents. My mom was one way, my father was another way. My mom was not a creative. She's the kind of person that'll tell you, I fail at drawing stick figures. My dad, on the other hand, was the type of person that whatever he put his creative left hand to, he never failed at. Everything from murals to airbrush back in the 90s, pen striping by hand. I mean, you name it, he did it. He passed on a couple of years ago, and I've got 3 younger brothers, and all of us have some level of creative gene in us. I've always been a writer. Creative writing is something that I got into when I was in high school. Descriptive writing, creative writing. I wrote a lot of technical publications, things like that in the military. I've written for different businesses that I've worked with, various things. The beautiful thing about Midjourney, and for those of you who use Midjourney, and you got used to a certain way of prompting Midjourney through the generations as it's developed, one thing that I really want to share with you guys is version 5. If you're not aware, version 5 is now using natural language processing. That being said, all you have to do is write as you would normally speak. You don't have to chop your prompts up anymore into these, kind of little bite-sized pieces of descriptive information, little nuggets of descriptive information. No, write a story. Tell Midjourney exactly what it is that you see in your mind. See, I have 5 children. My oldest is 20, my youngest is 13. My wife, she's like some of my kids, and a couple of my kids, actually, I think only one of my kids is like me, in the fact that I'm not a visual thinker. If someone is describing something to me, generally I don't see it visually. I can conceptualize it, but if I'm reading a book, I don't see it like a story. I have three members of my family that do, which is really incredibly insightful for a creative to be able to read something and see it in their own mind's eye. The beautiful thing about that is if you're reading something or you have a vision of something, all you have to do is be descriptive and type it in there in full sentences, and Midjourney will throw it out really in more clarity than you're probably getting if you're throwing in all of these extra little words of cinematography and wide angle lens, 50 millimeter, all this stuff. There is value in that, and you can really get super specific with your imagery when you do that. But at the same time, it's much easier, much faster, and it flows better. And flow is important because flow is what keeps us all active. It keeps us all connected. It keeps us all creative. So don't break up your flow. Use natural language processing. Continue to learn the machines behind this, because the more that we understand the machines, the more we can understand how to communicate with them and how to prompt them to do what it is that we want them to do, instead of them doing what it is that they want us to consume. That's dangerous.
Yes.
There's a lot of bias in these models. and we have to be very careful. So I challenge you all, continue to do amazing work, use natural language processing, grow with this technology, but at the same time, understand the biases, find those biases, start to communicate back to it, tell it has a bias. It's really interesting. You tell it has a bias, and it'll say, "Oh wow, thank you for bringing that to my attention. I'm trying to do my best to overcome biases." So if you explain to it and you tell it, tell this machine, "You're wrong. Don't lie to me." You have to prompt it to do things like that. You have to say no hallucinations. The way it works is it wants to please you. It's like a dog or a small child in that regard. But thanks for the time.
Yeah,
I think
no,
I've made my point.
awesome.
So thank you, Sandeep.
Yeah, awesome points. I actually have multiple of them. I was curious which one should kind of explore more, because I like what you said about the prompts. It's 100% true. It's better to explain yourself with your own words. Try to not fit a template. Oh, like I'm an engineer. Usually on our stuff, even if you do coding, you are kind of chopped. You're gonna write the code exactly as you said: sun, astronaut, wide lens, and you get the results. Like, what the heck is that? But when you start refining and explain it, I think you're gonna have those nuances. And on my test with the prompts, I saw that too. When you have a choppy prompt, yeah, it's a little bit, happy accident, as the artists call it. You don't know what you get. But I don't want that on my side. When what I have in mind, that's what I want to see. So, and due to the randomness, AI, especially on Midjourney, is kind of not getting all the time what you ask. But to complete your chain of thought, actually, when you write, have in mind, you try to be succinct as well, because the first part of the prompt is heavily represented. I notice on my prompts a lot, when I have longer prompts, whatever is toward the end of the prompt, many times is actually not even coming. When we are very specific, say, hey, I want this, and at the end I want the color red, or that red never appears. So have in mind that the heavy part of the prompt, it's in front. Of course, you can use different other tricks to have different words, different weights. You can do that, but very good advice. Basically, write your prompt as you feel it, as you express yourself, because your personality is going to be reflected in the prompt. So that's what I intended to have some comments regarding Jericho's excellent points, actually. With us also,
yeah, I've got a few comments too, Sandy.
Yeah,
just really
go ahead.
quickly before we go to Tracy.
Yeah.
Just one observation I made that I really, really enjoyed what Jericho said, which is we are now learning more because of AI, and we're not becoming lazier. Because I'm seeing a lot of arguments. It's like WhatsApp. We're going to learn not to do copywriting and stuff. The opposite is true. I now know so much more because of the AI than despite of it. That's one observation I just want to make about AI. It's actually empowering me to learn more and stuff like that. And another thing I wanted to say on your comment, basically, is it's so fascinating when you think about prompting and in a hierarchy of words. Now, one of the things that marketers have always known through copywriting is that anyone can write a lot of copy, but only special copywriters can condense that into one lines. So optimizing our own words towards the AI and getting the best brief. I call it brief writing, not prompt engineering, because I think that's more accessible. I think the word engineering actually is difficult for some people to hear if they don't know, because natural language is much more like it, isn't it? So just to those points, anyway, I wanted to add.
No, excellent, and actually, you make a lot of friends as well in all of the places too. Because when I started AI, all my friends on LinkedIn, they were construction people, and suddenly now you have different artists, different people which love AI, different segments as well, which is really awesome. Okay, Tracy, thank you very much. We have with us also David. David, we're gonna give you the opportunity to share your thoughts after we have Tracy. Tracy, go ahead.
Okay, so yesterday was history in the making. The EU actually did rules and regulations for AI.
Yeah, I have it on my list. Yes, go ahead.
And so understanding how they're going to implement that is far beyond. It's no different than TikTok. Like, how in the world are they going to prevent these people from adopting AI into their infrastructure?
Yeah, no, and actually all around the world, there were news like this. Kind of, we're gonna trace toward what are the news, and Dave, we're gonna have your words in a second as well. Yes, there were regulation in Asia as well, and Japan had some stance regarding their opinion about the AI. In India, for instance, you can actually get a copyright based on something done with AI. I guess in China everybody knows what happens over there. But yes, yesterday were really, this regulation with AI in Europe, that was quite interesting. And also they give us some deadlines because they want to catch up really fast. Actually, in less than a year, all those regulations, by the end of the year, they want to have it kind of approved and voted, and live they will go early in 2024. And I'm really curious how those things will go, because in a global scale we have different opinion, different regulations, and that is going to have some global impacts on how the AI globally is going to be approached. And I think actually Tracy,
Exactly. And here's my question, because no different than GDPR and BRIACS, how it was regulated. What I'm trying to understand how AI is going to be regulated.
yes, at the global level, yes. That's exactly what I put in my notes too here as well. I say, okay, it looks like we have some different standards. So what we're gonna do? We go in different countries if we want to do some stuff, and other countries do it differently. I mean, that's quite an interesting point of view. Dave, I didn't know exactly on which one you want to touch. We already opened like 5-6 branches of discussions. Go ahead.
Right. I'm following.
Good, thank you.
Hey, Sandu, how's everybody doing?
Well, we
My
have
name
an
is
exciting
Dave.
discussion.
Something
David.
that got my attention, Sandu, was a comment that you made earlier about using AI for as-builds. That really got my attention for construction sites, and I was wanting to know a little bit more about that. Maybe you're in a
Yeah, I
different
can.
power and separate one can discuss things on that.
Yeah, I can expand on that. So even in the comments for this event, I posted more stuff. And this is not only the AI. AI goes in hands with augmented reality, goes with robotics as well. We're gonna see a lot of application from robotics, which actually they have AI embedded on it. But regarding the scanning technology, like LiDAR, and Joy, maybe you can chime on this one as well. The most important thing is to have everybody united in one place, and that is in general a big struggle for construction. And it's not only the construction industry; it's everywhere. The prime example is when you have a heavy development city, whatever city is, you want to know where the utilities are. Those are underground. You don't know where they are. So a lot of efforts and time and money they are spending basically digging, have the permits and all that to identify
I've
what
been there.
yeah, exactly, to find out what the heck is over there, because
And if I could just chime in, I'm sorry, like in terms of AI, it's not going away. So
Yes.
we have to accept, adapt, and deploy. That's the three main components.
or modify the
And
AI, or
Yeah.
train the AI toward the positive sides which we can get with the AI, and kind of make sure whatever negative is over there, we should stop it, because it's like I made the comparison with the atomic power, like same as the atomic power, that have the two sides, yeah, same destructive potential, but what the humanity have, the humanity they take the positive side, and we have ways of extracting the energy from the atom, and we use that positively, but in the same time that threat was always behind, with the weapons and all that. So God forbid that to happen, but with AI it's slightly different. However, the destruction potential is similar, as long as we can take the positive.
Okay, so my mentor, who was my biggest fan, was Stephen Hawking. And before he died, he actually predicted this was going to happen. He said that AI would take over and humans would end up being caterers to computers.
No,
And
Ken.
Different opinion. That is, yes. Go ahead, Vista.
No. I think in one way you can be right, or Hawkins can be right if we don't change, because we have to rethink the intellectual property completely. Because from now with AI, it's not the knowledge we have to protect the knowledge; it's how we use the knowledge. I think we need a completely new set of how we see the copyrights and all these things.
What-
And
Yeah,
One big thing I say is it's a tool, right?
Right.
Every
and I
tool
totally
has a
agree.
person
I
behind it.
totally agree with you.
So it depends on the intention of the individual at the end of the day. So, you know, it's tied to intentions and people. The tool is going to exist no matter what. It already exists. It has momentum. It's moving forward. It's going to be very hard to put a stop into this technology at this point. So what we have to do is make sure that there's policies to keep people accountable whenever they mess up. Maybe give them a few opportunities here and there, but if they keep doing it, then hold them accountable. It's a tool at the end of the day, and it's tied to intentions.
yes. And just to add another thing here regarding the Steve Hopkins and Tracy, I will let you have your opinion as well. Me, I'm a person which looks to the snapshots in time. So yes, the prediction was sometimes in the past, but humanity also evolved. So the comparison which we do in general, usually they take the static images at that snapshot in time. However, many times the application may change. Is that variation which it happens because as the AI evolves, humanity evolves as well. The way of thinking, the way of having responses to different reactions are different because it's a different mix. So, you know, if we do the comparison, yes, what happened at that time, I think he was right. But when you do the next snapshot in time, the variation might move it from the initial prediction because new information is brought in place, and also humanity evolved. Tracy?
Okay, so if you look at right now, what happened in the Industrial Revolution, and then machinery took over and whatever, and then now we're having the technical revolution. This is going to change the world. Like
Yes.
this year, ChatGPT has been only since existence since November 30th. That's only 6 months ago, and it is totally taking over.
Yes, but in the same time, we have time to evolve. We evolve at a faster pace. And yes, this fifth industrial revolution, which happens right now, it's probably going faster than the capability of humanity to react. I agree with that. But in the same time, the humanity itself is kind of developed to have a reaction to those inputs which we have from the AI. Always I make a comparison. People get scared about the AI, but they forget there are other things bigger than AI. Free energy, for example, stuff which are in the patents office, which people doesn't even know about it, because we can have, for instance, on this planet which is full of water. Why do we need electrical cars? Why we don't have water cars? You know, like the technologies are there. We know that there are people which invent cars working on water. So why the heck we need to invest on all those batteries which are polluted for the Earth itself when we can have that kind of technology coming toward us? Not talking about Tesla, which invented a lot of stuff which probably you know, and Steve knows and knew as well. They are still under the seal. We do not know about the free energies and things like that yet. Well, hopefully with time we'll find out. Yeah. But anyway, it looked like it's not too much. We deviate a little bit. My intention was to talk about the news, but go ahead. Jericho, you intended to have a comment?
No, that was you.
Oh, sorry, Brian. Yes.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was just gonna say, I mean, the thing that comes up for me and all this, like, first of all, I'm I'm an optimist. I'm a horrible optimist. I definitely see the
Yeah,
potential
not only-
for a beautiful future
Yes.
with AI. On the same time, I consider myself a realist, and I do see both sides of the coin on all of this. Very, I'm sure we all do here, but I'm kind of torn. I don't go to that just kind of place of just being positive and like not being willing to look at the other side. I try to like really be honest with both sides and possibilities. And and the thing that comes up for me and like to Tracy's concern, because I mean, first of all, Sandhu's points, I will say, definitely. I mean, one of the beauties of AI, I think, is that it's going to help us to put new systems into place. It can solve global warming. It can solve, global starvation. It can solve, poverty and all these things, that wealth, disparity and gaps. And, I think it can absolutely do that for us or with us. But of course, there's also the potential for, I mean, the thing that comes up for me is, the biggest problem out of all of it, it's not the AI, it's people. It's always people, and here I'm gonna really bring something into this conversation. Aliens. Have you guys? I'm sure some of you. Well, check it out. So I'm sure some of you have heard. There's some serious whistleblower stuff going on right now from a guy that was in the Secret Service or intelligence agency here in the United States. And he is talking about how the U.S. government has like 12, alien crafts, and they've uncovered bodies, and he's talking about all this stuff, and it's more legitimate than ever now. And there's a whole belief actually that what's actually happening is this is the government's way of a soft launch into the honesty about what's actually happening, because they didn't want to just throw it at us and say, yeah, there's aliens, because that's a lot for us to deal with. So they're doing it in this soft way, where we're still getting in from bits of information. And but anyway, but my point to this is the whole point of this his conversation and why he's talking about this is he's saying that it's not just the U.S. but all these other countries have these task force and whatever who go and actively are collecting aliens, spacecraft and things, or inhuman spacecraft, and for the purpose of continuing to keep us ahead of the curve, so that we have the best weapons, we have the best, the most power and whatever. And even, I don't know if you heard this, but we actually have now a new military force called Space Force. Have you heard about this? So,
yes.
That's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
Sure it is. But they're seeing the space. No, it's not. Okay, so Brian, I totally agree with you. Okay, when I was at University of Alberta and I had to do my thesis, I did my thesis on conditioning social justice to accept through media. So all of a sudden, we have Terminator, we have iRobot, and now none of us are shocked that we have Tesla freaking robots and whatever, because it was conditioning us to accept it without change.
Yeah.
Well, fine. I just want to be. Hold on, let me just be clear with my point.
Yeah,
Because I just want to be clear that I don't believe that we're going to a Terminator, or iRobot. Like, that's not our future. But what I'm saying is that here's the sad thing. Like, if it's true, and I believe it is, I believe for a long time that our governments have found spacecraft and all this stuff, and known about alien life and other things. It's the incredible sad truth is that even now that our governments, that our leaders know that there's alien life and other things out there that are threats potentially, we still haven't come together as a species on the planet. We're not one unified planet. We're still fighting each other and trying to hide things from each other, and that is the rub. That is the problem, and that's the same problem we're going to have with AI, if you ask me, because they're still going to weaponize it. They're already doing it. They're still trying to use it for their own benefits and control, even population control. All these things are very scary and real potential, threats. And so again, we can talk about, yes, we absolutely evolve exponentially alongside technology. and that is the beauty of all this, and it's where my hope and comes in. But at the same time, it's like that's my big question too. Is like how does our evolution and all of that, like and our excitement and all of this stuff, how does that protect us from these idiots at the top of the of the leaders and whatever of our countries that are making these decisions for us? It's like where does the regulation, like how do we really stop that? Like, I mean, that's the real question. And I'm hoping, I guess I almost feel like AI is going to have to be the thing that helps us with that too. That ultimately says this is not good for humanity, we're going to stop it. You know what I mean? Like that's where I see it going.
Yeah, Brian, cool.
As opposed to the opposite, where the AI tries to destroy us.
Really cool ideas. Again, I was trying to get on the news so quickly, just for everybody who wants to know what the words are about. So he was talking about Stephen Greer. He have a meeting also in Washington. Really cool stuff over there. Yes, there is a disinformation package over there through the Star Academy. Also, they have a bunch of stuff. Yes, they talk about hidden stuff on the invention of humanity. Yeah, there are a lot of stuff which we can talk hours about it. But and also I want to try to touch on the 3D stuff, but I can talk about multi-dimensions as well. So it's so funny about it's so funny about it. But back to the new, back to Earth, guys. Back to Earth. We are on Earth here, very beautiful planet. A lot of nice people. So here is what I was looking, especially back to AI and visuals. NVIDIA have that Neuralangelo. I'm not sure if you guys saw it. This is a really cool technology. It's also related to the scanning. I'm really impressed of what they did over there. That is also going hand in hand with gaming industry. Yes, you can use it with Unity. You can use it with Unreal. Lots of opportunities over there. I touched a little bit on the robotics. It was a conference, the IEEE on the robotics. From what I could see, they try to help it, kind of what you say, Brian, as well. Like there are robots right now which they can select trash and take the plastics and stuff like that. I think that's actually a really nice touch. But in the same time, which I saw it and I raised my eyebrow a little bit. I do see military application, and I posted also in the comments, the primer.ai, which they try to use it for the defense and kind of making scenarios and things like that. And being a big science fiction fan, I can tell you a ton of movies which actually they did that, starting with Ender's Game and like ton of literature on that as well. Which again they try to show both sides of the coin. Could be on the negative side, could be on the positive side. Like all the robotics in general. If you think about Isaac Asimov, he came with the 3 laws, and the first law was the robot is not going to hurt the people. Now replace the word robot with AI, and the hurt is already there. So again, I think it's back to how we can train our languages, how we can train our platforms, and the biggest challenge which we have, and as Brian nailed it on the head, it's actually with people, because right now the whole slew of AI is driven by the companies, is driven by private entities. So as soon as we're gonna have the open source stuff, they will come, same as this Blender in 3D, for example. With open stuff, we can actually kind of regulate and find that balance, because you do not want all that power in the hand of one person who can control the other 99 out of 100. So I think that is actually where the things has to be going in the future, where the humanity can evolve, trying to cover all those gaps which we have it. And again, I kind of touch it a little bit on the 3D.
Sandu,
Go ahead, Tracy.
so Sandu, my question to you is, with the new EU regulations that they're trying to put in place, how in the world are they going to dictate that and be able to control that? Because it's no different than TikTok. Like, how in the world are they going to control people having access to that information?
Yeah, but it's not going to be a control. It's going to be a discussion. That's what I'm trying to explain here. Yes, on that zone of the world, we're gonna have something. On the other side of the world, when we have another 5 billion people, we have a different regulation. And let's say on the opposite side, and I will include also North America, where you have only like one portion of it. There are 10 times more people on that side of the world, and you can see where the answer comes from. Yeah. So from that point of view, I think it's gonna be a lot of discussion to find that balance. It's all about the balance at the end, because we are not talking people with that mentality or people with that mentality. We talk humanity here at the end, and therefore has to be a solution which is going to be agreeable by the whole people, and this is how the future is going to come. And in my opinion, should be positive. Obviously, you're not going to have a negative idea and after that, okay, destroy all the other people on the other side. Doesn't make any sense. Like humanity always was evolving like that, together as a humanity. So anyway, quickly on quickly on that side, I can debate on that. I mean, it's fine, but the intention of the event here is kind of talking about the news. And yes, I'm really happy you brought it, because we both are on the same thing. That regulation raises a lot of questions on my mind as well. But on the 3D, I'm really excited about the 3D stuff as well. For people which they are looking how the future will look like. Apple the other week they come with the Vision, which is an VR hidden as an AR, but anyway, whatever technology they want to put it over there. I do not think the VR is gonna have too much future, because people by default they want to talk with people, not really meeting in virtual environment. But you can actually use the augmented part, and I think that is probably really cool, having augmented applications, and that could be with cars. You can have displays. And again, the question is, what is going to be the infrastructure for all those new technologies which are coming? Because at the end, we're going to have parts and pieces, yeah? And who's going to link all those pieces between itself? And the answer is, again, AI. So kind of that is what I was trying to look from 3D point of view. What is news? We have this software, actually, Taffy, which can create from text 3D characters. So therefore, you can have your avatar, you can put it in web 3D. Really cool stuff, actually. But again, to me, that is only the surface. The question is how the infrastructure, how the things at the core is going to be. Are we going to have independent databases, like Midjourney doing their own thing, Photoshop beta is doing their own thing? Are they coming to talk between themselves, or the user is going to use the service and is going to do the link through the upper surface? That I think will be interesting to watch.
That'll be the user. Definitely the user.
Yes.
The thing, one of the key moderators is, Microsoft, I just attended the 2-day conference, and they adapted Copilot. And Copilot is like an open source. Anyone can build their applications. And you know what that means to hackers? That's a field day. They could open up and they could hack into that, no problem. So what does that say? I'm like, again, cybersecurity, how does it work in terms of AI? That's my question.
Yeah, Tracy, I totally hear you. And I've been listening to you and Brian, and I totally agree and understand your concerns as well. As far as the hackers, you're going to have hackers. They're going to be everywhere. They're doing it now. But it's up to us as users of AI, and also our responsibility to implement in everything that we create in AI, not just random images, not just random bots. Implement and make our mark of who we are. As I'm Joy, and I'm going to make my mark on everything that I create in AI. Therefore, the hackers that I know, right, okay, that are good people, right, that have a moral compass, that actually do security, know and see my tag in all my AI that I create, and everything that I create, bot, metaverse, avatar, VRM, doesn't matter. They see my mark. They're able to protect me, to give me advice, just like we have been doing for decades now in security, in online hacking, in identity. And those are the things that are going to start to happen. We have to kind of, I want to just tell the entire room, whatever you are creating, I don't care what it is, please put your mark on it. It is you. I mean, Jericho brought it up. It is a tool, but it also is something you have to start marking in and evolving that AI and that tool. And give it the opportunity to, when it's out in the world, that it can be also connected with and captured by those that you're already connected with now. So I don't know if that makes any sense to everyone, but just really put your mark, your moral compass, whatever it is, train it and evolve it and force it into understanding. When I create something as Joy for anything Pixel Girl, you will find me and you will probably take it and want to steal it and copyright, infringe on it, and whatever you want to do. I'll let you do that to a point, but then I'm going to also collect everything that's all mine, and I'm going to hand it over to my friend who's the hacker security, and I'm going to have them, scrub it. I'm going to have them go through it. I'm going to have them find you, and I'm going to have you shut down. So just start thinking in those types of terms that, there is going to be a negative to every positive, but it's time for us to really, I think AI has forced us to evolve no matter what. We have to do it, and we have to kind of come together in that process. Or things will happen. Bad things will always happen. But we've been doing this for decades now. We just need to evolve it a little bit more with this tool. That's it.
Yes, and to kind of resonate with your idea, Joy, to me, yes, it's a tool, but AI, it's an extension of you. At the end, it's still you as a human being, your personality,
Exactly.
yourself. Because at the end, AI, what
Thank
it
you,
did,
Joy. That was really helpful.
what AI did is actually let you express what you have in your mind. Basically, the human side is not going to go away. People are just blinded by AI. But in general, what you have in your mind, you express yourself, no matter what. The tool doesn't matter. It's actually yourself. It's you.
Yeah, and it's just going to force us to come together.
Yes.
We're so completely separated, and with COVID, I thought that we would come together a little bit more. But we did online, we did in Metaverse, we did online in Twitter, we did. We're finding each other right now in this space, and we're coming together, and we don't have to agree with each other, but we still are trying to find solutions. And that's what it's going to force us to do. And I just want everyone to kind of keep that in mind. We can go down different rabbit holes of the negativity, but there's
Not
so many
necessary.
different things that are coming that are wonderful.
Yes,
that was
exactly.
awesome, Joy. Can I just say to Tracy, I think the first thing that you said, I think when you got on here, was that AI is here and we need to accept it. And I would just offer that, a suggestion that you, as accepting it, you choose, a better story. It's like you could choose to believe that, you can walk across the street and get hit by a bus. That can happen, but that's not the story you want to live into. So, choose the story that you want to live into, and be aware of these potential threats, but don't let them, completely drive your don't be ruled by fear on this stuff, because there is so much good to be had, and that's what we need to be focusing on as a collective. So
Yeah. We kind of reach also toward the end. I will thank you everyone for the participations. I will give the opportunity to one person to do the closeout. So who likes to do the closeout?
I think we can. I'd like to do the close up.
Go ahead.
Interview on the stage. Actually, just let us know what was the most important of today. I mean, a summarize from that. That would be interesting to see what is the biggest takeaway from being here today. And maybe we should start with Jericho and make it short.
Yeah, of course. Thank you, Brigitte. I appreciate that. So the biggest takeaway and I came in, I'm not sure what time this started. I had some other things going on, but I jumped in as soon as I could. So the biggest takeaway for me, and I will keep it short because I can't be long-winded, is AI and the kind of the what's the word I'm looking for? this inflection point that we're at. It's an inflection point, but it's also a kind of a merger of human and AI. And Tracy, you brought up a good point. I have a very unique perspective because I am a creative in this space, but I also have a construction background, so I have a lot of like-mindedness with Sandhu. But I also come from a military background, specifically with security, whole security. I'm talking infrastructure, both physical, internet, everything. The thing of it is, the IoT is growing at the same time AI is growing, and open source is a very, very powerful tool. To Joy's point, just because someone is labeled a hacker doesn't mean they have nefarious, mindsets and nefarious plans and all of this. Hacker simply means that there's somebody that understands computers more than the average person. And so, to that point, I am in conversation with a lot of quote-unquote hackers in very powerful positions with very large sums of money. And we are having conversations about how do we take this and how do we level the playing field for everyone ethically, responsibly, safely, so that everyone can play in tide raises all ships. We're tired of this tide that's sweeping all the ships around. So I think the biggest thing to take away from it is, to Joy's point, put your stamp on it, but put it on in there ethically, morally, because the more we drive this technology to see that humans are not the threat, the more that we don't have Hollywood coming to reality.
Yep.
Good.
Excellent. All right. Thank you very much again to everyone who participated, to the people on the stage, the speakers, which they were kind to join me. And we'll meet next week, same time, Thursday at noon, New York time, Eastern time. And I'm really looking forward to have the next one. And probably we're going to continue this discussion also. A really cool topic.
Sandy, thank you.
Thank you very
Thank you
much.
for having us.
Thank you. All right. Have a good one.
Thank you,
Thank
Sandy.
you.
Thank you,
Bye.
everybody.
And good
Bye.
morning.
Bye.